What's the story, Morning Glory? What is up, Buttercup? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Love and Marriage Detroit, Season 1, Episode 9. You've got to come back to Detroit. So it starts off where we left off last week. They're still in on their little couples retreat. The guys are on the beach. They were playing football or whatever, and then they got sidetracked with the conversations, and Anthony was confronting Brandon, letting Brandon know that he's got nothing against him. He's not out to get him. And this started because Anthony had told Brandon that he had invited Lyrique to the showcase. And Brandon did not like that because Lyrique and Brandon's wife Christina have a history. Even though it's a professional history, I guess it was just professional. Back in the day, they used to work together. Lyrique was trying to produce Christina because she was an aspiring singer at the time. So Brandon wants no parts of Lyrique, and Anthony keeps telling him, it's my showcase, I can invite who I want. So they do have a slight conversation, and then Brandon is like, why do you always have it out for me? And that's when Anthony comes up to him like inches away from his face and tells him, I don't have it out for you. I actually want to work with you. I don't have anything against you. So then they kind of make up. But we all know whenever these people make up, it's extremely temporary. Like within the blink of an eye, they're going to be going at it again. So then later on, Brandon and Christina, they're up in their room and they're getting ready for dinner. Brandon thinks that Anthony, like he tells Christina, he tells her, just like the way LaToya has a target on your back, I feel like Brandon has a target on my back. So Brandon tells her that Anthony had brought up Lyrique being a part of the showcase. Now he really wasn't feeling that. Then Christina tells us in her confessional the history between her and Lyrique. First she tells us, well, I knew him as Sean. I didn't know him as Lyrique. I knew him as Sean back in the day. And now he was like trying to be her music producer and trying to, I don't know, shape or cultivate her singing career or something. But she said that he started catching feelings. And so when he started catching feelings, she had to distance herself from him. And this was way before she met Brandon. So that's the history from her side of Lyrique and Christina. So then, they have dinner, and then the men and women after dinner, they separate. The women go outside to talk, and Christina just tries to make amends with everybody. So she wants to make amends with LaToya, and she's asking LaToya, what exactly do you have against me? Because I feel like you got something against me. And LaToya tells Christina, it's just that, the last couple of weeks or whatever, I see how you're moving, and I just don't like it. Like the way, you claim that Kobe is your sister, that's your little sis, and y'all are so tight. But then when she came to you about this brand deal, you didn't even reach out to her. You didn't even want to communicate with her at all about that. You just left her hanging. I thought that was kind of wrong. And then she mentions a couple of other things that she has an issue with Christina. And so they basically, at the end of the day, they all did their fake makeup. Christina told LaToya, well, I just want to move forward with you. I don't have any animosity towards you. And LaToya's like, well, I don't have any animosity towards you either. And so Christina's like, well, I want to move forward. I don't know what you want to do, but I want to move forward. And so LaToya's like, okay, fine, girl, we'll move forward. So LaToya and Christina have moved forward. Christina and Kobe have moved forward for now, temporarily. Okay, until the next scene when it all blows up again. Moving on from there. So Bravo and Anthony, they meet up at, I guess Bravo's like a franchise owner of like this, a hot dog, or I don't know what it was, a hot dog shop or burger shop or burger joint. I guess like a franchise owner of this little restaurant. So Bravo and Anthony, they meet up there. And they want to add Marceau Scott to the showcase. And so I was like, okay, I'm bracing myself for the grand appearance of Marceau Scott because that man makes me ill. So it's actually Anthony that knows Marceau, and then Anthony's going to pretend, not Anthony, excuse me, it's Bravo that knows Marceau and wants to bring Marceau in. Anthony's cool with it. Anthony's going to act like he really doesn't know who he is, but we know that he knows exactly who he is because you're on a show that's a franchise of Marceau's show or a spinoff of Marceau's show. So Marceau shows up. So we have to suffer through Marceau's pontification on, how the black man is perceived and the black community, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Marceau was talking about how black men are not as violent as people make them out to be, that black men are actually thinkers and, they want to start businesses and they're very positive. So they're not these wild, violent group of thugs that the public has perceived them to be. And so Of course, Marcel agrees to speak at the men's movement because anytime he has a chance for anybody to listen to him, he is going to take it because he wants to bless us all with his endless wisdom. Brandon, it's his birthday, and what a sad birthday it was. So I'm only going to have to assume that Christina and his friends did something for him for his birthday. That his birthday just did not consist of him going to his mom's empty house and eating a piece of cake with his very distant, uncommunicative mother. His birthday had to have been more than what they showed us. So he goes over to see his mom. His mom baked him his favorite cake. When they showed his mom, like low key, I thought that was his grandmother. I had no idea that was his mom. I was like, oh, he's went to go see his grandmother, but no, that was his mom. So he talks about the strained relationship that he has with his mother. I guess his mother did not say I love you enough, did not communicate a lot with him when he was growing up. She was very distant. And he kind of brings that up with her, and and the mother tells him that, okay, I may not have said I love you a lot, but I hope that you felt that I loved you because, I do love you, even though I didn't say it. And a lot of us people grew up in a household where our parents didn't say I love you a lot, but I never doubted that my parents loved me just because they didn't say it every 5 minutes. But I guess for some people, Christina has been in his ear. So Christina has convinced him that there was something wrong with his childhood. I don't know if there was or if there wasn't. They showed us, a few pictures of him growing up. And I mean, look, your mom was there. She raised you. She didn't abuse you. She didn't abandon you. Like, what more could you possibly ask for? Our parents cannot be absolutely perfect. And because they don't match, the things that Susie Homemaker did with her kids, it doesn't mean that there was something wrong with your relationship with your mother. But he claims there was something missing. There was something lacking because Christina has convinced him that he had a very traumatic childhood. And the mom is kind of like, I don't see where it was traumatic. And the mom was even like, I think this is the reason why the mom has a problem with Christina because Christina's probably brainwashing her son. Maybe this is the reason why she can't get along with Christina. So Brandon says that it was really hard for him growing up in the hood with a white mother, but that's not your mom's fault because other people gave you a hard time about that. How's that your mom's fault? So the mom then says, well, it wasn't easy being a white woman in the hood. It wasn't easy for me either. So he talks about how he wants to go to therapy and he's hoping that his mom could join him. The mom really isn't feeling that because she's really old school. So the mom ain't feeling the therapy thing, but she says she'll go ahead and do it for him. Now, Brandon does talk about his father. He said that after his father and his mother divorced, him and his dad actually became closer. His dad has now passed on. But he said that, I guess he was able to make amends with his dad. So he's trying to fix the relationship with his mother. Moving on from there, we have Anthony. So it's the day of the men's movement, March. Well, it starts off raining cats and dogs. They go into the venue. Nothing is fixed. There's a guy there that was supposed to put up signs and stuff. I didn't see not one damn sign. There wasn't one damn balloon. There wasn't a table for refreshments, no decorations. It was absolutely bare. It was just a room. It was basically an empty room. Like, I don't know, like there were, how it was just an empty room. I don't know if this was a school or a church or what building they were in, but it was an empty room and the chairs were there. They were stacked up. I'm not sure why they didn't even have the damn chairs out so that the people that did show up could at least sit down. No one thought about pulling out the chairs. And like I said, there was no decorations, no signs anywhere. It was bare. There was nothing there but a podium and a microphone. And that was it. It was sad and pathetic. And I'm like, Anthony, you talk so big about this men's movement. Why does it look like this? Why didn't you want to decorate? Why didn't you want your wife to help you? Because Latoya was like, if you would have put me in charge, it wouldn't be looking like this. I would have really done something with it. Like, what are you doing, Anthony? So Latoya, she's a bit anxious because time's a ticking. It's about to start and there's no one there. Slowly, the inner circle shows up. Bravo shows up and Brandon shows up without Christina. They gave some excuse about one of their kids got hurt. Christina's not there. Of course, Kobe and Russell, they show up. So then Marceau shows up, right? It's 5 minutes till showtime, and like hardly anybody's there. Eventually, people start coming in, but in total, it was like a handful of guys, like literally a handful of men. This is supposed to be some big time men's movement, have some huge march, to show, showcase or highlight black men empowerment, and just a handful of people showed up. It was pathetic and sad. So Latoya's dad, he's the one that spoke first. He went up there. I don't know. He gave like a little sermon. I'm pretty sure he said a prayer. Marceau said a few words about bowel movements or something. I don't know. Then they had a chain breaking ceremony where they took the youngest guy in the room and the oldest guy in the room, have them each hold on to the opposite ends of this chain and pull on it and break it, because they're going to break the chains of something. I'm not sure what. They break the chains of, I don't know. So then they go on a walk. It was supposed to be a march, but there were so few of them, and there were no signs. They were not holding up any signs of any kind. No banners, no flags, nothing. Just a small group of men taking a very slow, leisurely stroll through the neighborhood. That's basically all that it was. So Marceau said it's a start. At the end of it all, Marceau was like, well, it is a start, and we did get some good exercise. Shade. So then Anthony says, well, the men's movement was more, he tells us in his confessional, the men's movement was more successful than any other of his projects. And I'm like, it was? Really? So your other projects are sorrier than this? He says it wasn't about the numbers, it was about the message. But what's the point of the message if there's nobody there to listen to it? Anthony, did you get on social media at all? Did you advertise this at all on all of your platforms? I know that your wife is social media. She's, doesn't know what to do with the hell on social media. But don't you? Did you announce this at all anywhere, or were you just sticking flyers on people's windshield wipers? Like, what is going on, Anthony? So Brandon, he had to throw some shade. He started talking about how he was expecting hundreds of men, because he was ready to give this really big, powerful speech in front of this huge group of men. But Kobe defended Anthony. Why, Kobe? This was sad and pathetic, and it was lackluster, and it was underwhelming. Kobe, why are you defending this? He needs to do better. You need to encourage him to do better. Don't say, well, this was a great turnout and this was... No, Kobe, it wasn't. It wasn't. So, anyways, let's move on. Brandon, his mom comes over for therapy. So when the mom greets Christina, it's extremely awkward between them. Very awkward. Christina. Wow, not a lot of people like her. So Brandon paints this picture that, his mom was emotionless when he was growing up. His mom was emotionally distant, didn't really communicate, etc. The therapist comes in and the session begins. Brandon says that his mom didn't really communicate much with him. Well, the mom said, well, it wasn't for, me not trying. I did put in the effort to communicate with him, but he would just stick his thumb in his mouth and roll over. And then Brandon was like, I would stick my thumb in my mouth and roll over. So how old was I when you were making this effort to communicate with me? And the mom was like, 8 or younger. Oh, so he was a baby when you were trying to communicate with him, and he would just stick his thumb in his mouth and roll over and take a nap because he was a baby, he was a child. That doesn't count, Mom. That doesn't count. So she was kind of blaming him, well, I tried, but he didn't want to listen to me. He just, rolled over and took a nap because he was 2. So Brandon expresses that communicating with his mother is something that his mom can live with or without. It's not that important to her. It's not that big of a priority to her if they're able to communicate, if they're able to communicate on a deeper level. I'm not even clear on what the hell is going on between Brandon and his mom, because Like, was the mom busy working? Because sometimes it can kind of hinder communication because she's not there because she's holding down 2 or 3 jobs. If she was the main one raising these kids, like, what is really going on? Was she like, did she have like a substance abuse problem, Brandon? Did she just not like you? What are you really trying to tell us about your mom? Or is this all trumped up fake drama for a storyline? Because y'all don't got nothing else going on. Anywho, thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it on your way out. Please don't forget to rate the video. I'm so like disappointed in this episode. On your way out, don't forget to rate the video. If you like this content, subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.